My personal spiritual awakening journey started a few years ago when I asked myself a simple question. Am I a soul or I have a soul? On the surface, this question might look very simple, but the beauty of its simplicity that put me on a path of self-discovery. I was raised as a Muslim, and when I came to America, I came across Christianity, Judaism, Hinduism, and I was eager to learn how these people practice their religion, what are their values, what are the common grounds between Islam, Christianity, Judaism, and Hinduism. And once I got on this journey of discovering the common thread between all these religions, I was amazed. And I came full circle with better understanding of myself, of my religion, this universe, the consciousness, who we are as human beings, and how we connect with each other. What is our source? Where do we come from? Where we will go after this life? What is the reality of this physical life? And what are the levels that we can achieve while being in this physical body? All these questions and more we will be discussing with our today's guest, Daniel M. Jackson. Daniel is a spiritual teacher. Daniel runs his own show, Beyond the Veils. He has been on this journey of discovery and teaching others for many, many years. So let's meet Daniel and start this conversation and learn about ourselves, how we can be better human beings, knowing our full reality, knowing our purpose, knowing deeper truths, so we can live a better life on this planet and achieve our purpose. I truly hope that this conversation sparks something bigger for you as well. So let's get into it. Welcome, Daniel. Thank you so much for taking the time to be on this podcast and share your wisdom, your knowledge with our viewers. I'd love to start our podcast with our signature question, which is, what does the word bloom mean to you, as it is in the title of my podcast, Bloom with Ansa? I would love to know your definition in your personal and professional
The word
journey.
bloom to me would be something that's going to be turn out beautiful. It's more of coming out of a cocoon, and now you have blooming into something more than you thought you would ever be. And I'm hoping that people would do that, especially with your message and my message at the same time, that they know they could be something more. They could be, not to be so much saying a better person, but a better version of themselves. And blooming, a bloom to that is the idea of what I think it is.
Beautiful. Thank you so much for such deep definition of the word bloom. So if you could just summarize for our audience what they will get from this conversation today and how this will change their life.
Well, it would only change their life if they decide to allow it to change their lives. And not everyone will do that. I understand that. But as long as the message gets out there, it gives each and every person an opportunity to want to change their lives. Hopefully, they will get out of me what I try to teach everyone is I try to give everybody peace of mind and clarity, but what I try to give them the most is direction. Because I feel people have lost direction in this world at this time right now. We are having problems with direction because we listen to society more than we listen to our own selves, and the true way to find answers about anything comes from within. But we have lost that a little bit because we rely on what kind of shirts we're wearing, or what kind of clothes we're wearing, what kind of car we're driving, how much money we have in the bank. Because the one thing I think we have lost, the most important thing we have lost is finding the true value in this world. Because even anything in our lives, those cool clothes you have on the car you drive, or the gold jewelry you have around you, has no value to it unless it's with you. So in other words, what's that truly mean? The true value in this world is us. Without us, all that other stuff is just stuff.
What is your definition of a human being?
A human being is someone who wants to learn, who doesn't want to just sit there and do nothing. A human being is someone who is fascinated by what's going on in the world, but hopefully more fascinated with what's going on with themselves. A human being is an open being, someone who is looking out into the world and finding, hopefully finding some type of inspiration that is going to help them to become themselves, the person that they are looking to be. A human being is someone who just not only wants to be out in the world, but the first part of that human being is the two letters be. Hopefully, they just want to be, because that is again that's where you're going to find the answers from yourself within yourself. In order to find those answers, you have to learn to sometimes just be.
And how can we learn just to be?
My key to that is I think is the key to everything is meditation. But in order to do meditation, you have to take the time to want to do meditation. You have to take the effort it's going to make in order to get into that meditative state. So that is taking time for yourself to learn how to do it. And when you're doing that, you took the first step because you took the time for what's most important about meditation is clearing yourself. You taking the time to want to be instead of just being on the go or on everything. So it's with anything in this world. If it's going to be about you, you have to the first step you have to take is taking the time to do it. But meditation is not always easy for everybody. I understand that. But it is the best way to get that peace of mind, that clarity within you. It does, as I always say to people, you'll get out of it what you put into it. And if you're not willing to put anything into it, you're not going to get anything out of it. But it does take time. Like I myself, I don't picture I can't do guided meditation, but that's for me. But because I'm 58 years old, so within guided meditation, I can't picture myself climbing up a set of stairs or climbing a tree as my normal life. Why do I want to do that in meditation? That doesn't seem to bring a sense of calm to me. But I use something called binaural beats, which gets me in a lot quicker. But again, it's all about perception. It's all about choosing which is the best avenue for you. But the best way to learn to get to that sense of just being, I believe, is through meditation, because that's you wanting to get rid of all thought processes within inside of you that your mind is running a million miles an hour to. You want to get to that sense of where it's clear, and when you're just being clear, then you just be.
Beautiful. And as I mentioned in my introduction, that journey of self-discovery and connection with myself, my higher self, my within, started with this simple question when I asked myself, am I a soul or I have a soul? So that was my question that led me on to this discovery of myself and lifted the veils for myself.
Right.
What is the question that somebody would want to ask if they are not there yet and they want to get on their self-discovery journey? What are some of the questions or examples that you can share with our audience?
Well, even to answer your own question, am I soul or do I have a soul? No, you do not have a soul. You are a soul. You are a soul within this human body here, learning the human experience, and that's what your soul is here to do. It knows that it has to come here, and it knows which body it's going to pick, but it's picking that body for specific lessons that it has to learn. So that's one of the things that we should be concentrating on the most is the lessons that we have to learn. Now, you're learning those lessons in order to get to fulfilling your purpose. And as I always tell people, your purpose is not becoming a doctor, a lawyer, or a basketball player, or a police officer. People confuse purpose with occupation. That's the problem, but it's not. Our purpose is we're here to help each other just for the sake of helping, not because you can, but because you should. In a way, it's going to be physical. You're going to be helping someone to do something they cannot do for themselves, or you're helping them to figure it out. But in order to get to that place, you have lessons that you're going to have to learn in this life. Those lessons being things that you previously did not do in the previous lifetime. Now you have to come back and do this all over again, because I know a lot of people like to talk about past life regression and all that stuff. Well, your past lives were important. They were absolutely important. But they were only important when they were being lived. They are not important now. What's important is what you do now. And because even if your past life to this one, previous to this one, was so important, then you would have gotten it right and you wouldn't be here now. You would have finished it and you would have went home and stayed home. But you didn't. You had to come back again. What do you have in common with the other 7.5 billion people on the face of this earth? They've all been to heaven. They all had to come back, just like you. So that means you have more to do. Focusing on something that you did previous, people want to focus on that previous lifetime, but they also, for some reason, want to focus on the previous things you've done in your past. They're in the past. They're gone. You've already lived it. You've already done it. Hopefully, you've learned from it and moved on. And if you haven't learned from it and moved on, you need to learn from it and move on because it's no longer who you are. I'm no longer making the same decisions or looking at the world the same way I did when I was 7 years old. So why would I want to keep bringing that up? I'm no longer 7 years old anymore. I have learned to make better decisions and move on from that and move forward. So if you're not willing to do that, you don't want to do that when all the things you did when you're 7 years old and you're no longer 7. You are no longer your past lives either. We need to learn to let that go. It's just not important. People want to bring up the past lives things because they want to tell a story from themselves of who they once were or who they were once related to in that sort of fashion. You know, I've had people come up to me and say to me, "Oh, well, how about my past lives? Maybe I was related to a king or a queen." And I would say to them, "Oh, so do you feel that being related to a king or a queen, someone who stood on the backs of other people or raped and murdered other people, you think that's something to be noble about?" I don't find that very noble whatsoever, because that's what they did. That's what they've always done. We look at the bullet points, and we don't look at all the other stuff. Well, our lives aren't made up of bullet points. Our mind is made up of many facets of our life. But we need to let go of all the previous stuff they had once before and learn to move forward. And moving forward is learning your lessons. And once you get through your lessons, you'll get to the point of fulfilling your purpose. That's why we are here. That's what we are here to do. We are here to take care of each other.
And when you talk about helping others, I believe when we help ourselves, that is also when we are helping others, because getting
Correct.
to know our true nature and becoming whole in ourselves, only then we can pour into someone else's cup. If our own cup is still
Absolutely.
empty, how can we help others? How can we pour into someone else's cup, right? So
Right.
the journey starts with ourselves, getting to know ourselves, going deep
Yes.
within, understanding who we are, what is our purpose, what I like to do, what I don't like to do, and following your passion. As I say, follow your passion and chase your dreams in every single
Yes.
day, right?
That's
Don't have a
absolutely
North Star that is like, okay, in 10 years, I want to do this, but you don't know about your today. What do you want to do in this moment right now?
right.
So it
Right.
always starts with this, right? So do you want to expand on that a little bit in your own words?
Yeah, I mean, I get that where I hear people all the time. They'll say to someone, "So where do you see yourself 10 years from now?" "Well, I don't know. I haven't gotten there yet. I have all this life to live first before I get there. And I have to figure myself out," because I tell people all the time, in order to be something for someone else, you have to be something for yourself first. You have to figure out yourself, and that takes time. And I'm going to go through a lot of things before I get to that 10-year point. Let me get through that first before I figure out, okay, well, I'm going to be this or I'm going to be that. You have no idea. As even in my own podcast, the very front picture of it is the boardwalk with these old time lights on it, and it's a misty background. Why? And you can't see to the end. Why? Because every day you wake up, you're walking into the unknown. You might be making some plans to do something, but you have absolutely no idea what's going to take place until you get there. So don't plan too far ahead. Plan for right now. But again, like you were just saying, even in your business and what you do and helping people, the help is coming from you. Without you being a part of the equation, what do you have? You have nothing. You have to take care of yourself first. You have to have trust and faith within yourself to be able to do what you want to do. And you also have to have some self love for yourself first. But because without you, the help that you want to put out there is not going to get there. And how you can't live one foot in and one foot out, acting as though, look how wonderful I'm doing these things, but your life itself is in complete and total turmoil. You can't do that. You can only act for so long. Eventually people are going to find that out. So there's no need for let them find that out if you're not living that at all. What you do is take care of yourself first. Make sure that you have a life that is planted on the ground first before you try to plant for other people. So take care of yourself and do the best that you can do for you without anyone else getting in your way. And then once you get yourself straightened out, then move forward, then put those plans in place. But again, don't plan too far into the future because you're not there yet. Take care of what's going on here first.
So true. So living in the moment and really working on yourself, figuring out who you are,
Yes.
where you want to go, but being in this present moment, whether you do it through meditation,
Yes.
you do it through breath work, you do it through walk in the nature, as I love it. So that is the thing that you want to start. Those are the deeper question. And when you are with
Yes.
yourself, let everything go, because what you the plans that you are making or what your brain is telling you is all based on past experiences, the past data that your brain has.
Correct.
So don't work too much based on what your brain tells you. Go into your heart and
Right.
listen, as you said in the beginning. Don't just be cluttered with the outside noise. Go within and listen to yourself, because that's where your higher self talks to you, speaks to you, gives you
Absolutely. Yeah, you're
messages.
good. You're good. You have to clear yourself out in order to get to into that place, into that space, more or less. Clearing out all the pain, anger, sorrow, grief, guilt, anguish, all that stuff that you carry inside of you all the time. Once you, again, even with the meditation, when you find through meditation is once you're able to clear those things out, and then get a sense of clarity within you to able to maybe get messages or to see and hear things that you would never see before. If you can get it in meditation, why wouldn't you want to get that every day? You can, but you have to learn to separate yourself from the things on the outside world that are always trying to distract everyone. Because you know the you can watch all the things on TV and then the things on the news and everything else that's going on else around you. But all that is basically just a distraction to keep you from knowing how much power and control you have of yourself without everyone else telling you how much power and control they have of you, because they really don't. But as long as you're allowing it to have it in your life, well, of course you're going to feel as though they have control of you. Stop allowing it.
So true. So true. And when we are working towards, we have goals, we want certain kind of lifestyle, we want certain things in our lives, certain relationships and everything. We also have to understand all of that on the outside world in our 3D physical reality is a projection of our self. Who we
Yes.
really are, that's what we project, and that's how we create our reality, right?
Yes.
But on the conscious level, on the source level, we are all one, and we are creators. We are creators of our own life that we see projected out there, outside of ourselves. So understanding
Absolutely.
that idea really helped me to focus on, and not blaming anyone else. So once I understand that everything I'm creating, everything I'm experiencing, it's my own creation. So if I want to see some change in my outer environment, I have to change myself within. The
Yes.
moment I understand this and I understood this, my life just changed. And I want you to expand on that a little bit for our audience, please, so they can understand what is this reality that we are creating all the time through our thoughts, through our emotions, through having ideas of what kind of life we want. And that's what's happening for us around us.
Yeah, I see exactly what you're saying, especially with the blame part. People like to play the blame game for everything. They want to blame your death on something all the time. They always say, "Oh, someone died," because I always tell them, no one dies too soon, no one dies too young, no one dies tragically, no one dies unexpectedly, no one dies untimely. Everyone just dies. They just do. But everything else that's going out in the world, they want to blame it on everyone else without taking any of this blame for themselves, for actually putting themselves into it. You can't sit there and blame everybody for everything that's going on in your life. It's going on in your life because you're allowing it to be in your life. You have to learn to stop allowing it to be in your life. You don't. You have negative people in your life because you choose to have those people in your life. You can also choose to not have those people in your life. In the same way, where I think we spoke about this once before, in my analogy that I use, that everything in your life is a choice. It's a choice. It's up to you to make that final decision. If you and I, in this sense, where you and I were best buddies, and you came to me and said, Daniel, I'm having a problem with drinking or drugs or depression, I would say, look, I'll take you to AA. I'll keep you away from drugs and alcohol and all the bars and all that stuff. But until you choose to stop drinking, no matter what I say or do, isn't going to make a difference. You have to make the choice of what's going to be best for you. And I can give you advice. I could even get you spiritual advice too, as well. I can get advice from spirit to help you. But until you choose to stand up for yourself and take control of yourself, nothing's going to change. You have to want to make the change for yourself. If you don't want to watch all the stuff that's going on the news and out in the world, stop watching. It's that simple. I mean, we used to say a long time ago, if you don't like what you hear on the radio, change the channel. Well, you have to change the bigger channel for yourself of knowing, okay, every time I drive down the street, if I see an accident on the side of the road, instead of me rubbernecking and going, what's going on over there? Just keep on driving. If there's absolutely nothing that you can do to make a difference in what's going on, then walk away. What's going on in the news, what's going on in different countries, the wars in the different countries. If there's not absolutely anything that you can do, then why are you paying attention to it? If you're not out there, or if you're just standing on the sidelines yelling and screaming like people do at football games and tell you, oh, that's my team. That's not really your team. You're just over there watching the team. You're just participating in your way. If you're not participating in a way where you're in the game, then you're not participating. You're not making any difference. Walk away. You can walk away from everything, but you have to want to choose to do that. And until you make that choice to separate yourself from all the madness that's going on around the world and within inside of yourself, then nothing will change. And in the same way where I tell people about depression, well, the only reason people have depression is because they choose to hold on to those feelings. You're you can do one of two things. You could go to a doctor and he can give you some medication for that, and that's only going to suppress your depression because they don't make any money off of a cure. Or they can also send you to a specialist, and he can talk you down from that. You know what you could learn to do? You could learn to talk yourself down from it. You could learn to do my favorite three words. You could learn to let it go. You don't have to let it affect you, but it is affecting you because you continue to let it prolong in your life. And who's doing that? You are. Learn to stop doing that. Learn to take control of your life. Learn to stop letting everyone else convince you that they know what is best for you. Only you can truly know what is best for you. Now, if you do get to a point where you do need some outside help because you can no longer make the decisions for yourself, that is something different. But you do have free will. You do have choice. You do have an ability to make choices for yourself. So what do? You learn to make better choices for yourself. That's what you do.
Powerful. And speaking of letting go, there are so many things, whether they are material things that we need to let go, or there are
Right.
thoughts that we need to let go, there are relationships that we need to let go of. They are not serving us they are not in our best interest. All they're
Correct.
doing is dragging us down, because we may be on a path, on a journey where we are making exponential progress in a certain direction, and that might not be their direction, right? So
Right.
if we are dragging them along, all we are doing is making our journey slower and having more baggage, on
Yes.
us. So we also need to learn that, okay, fine, we have these relationships or people in my life or circumstances, even they served me for a certain time period, because I also had to learn my lessons. I have learned my lessons. Now these relationships, these circumstances, these whatever those situations or people or things are, they need to let go. I need to
Yes.
let them go, right? They had their
Yes.
place, they had their purpose, they served me well. Now I need to let them go. And also there are situations where I have to release some people, I have to release certain thoughts, even I
Yes.
have to start a new chapter of my life. Some people just regurgitate the same events, the same circumstances in their life, and then they wonder why I'm not making any progress, because you are keeping yourself stuck. And as you speak of the free will, that is where the free will comes and is so powerful. We are such powerful creators that we can choose what we want to manifest in our life and what not.
Correct.
The universe, to me, is neutral, right? It just
Yes.
obeys our commands. We are the creators. We have the power through our free will to choose what we want to bring into our life and what we want to let go. So wherever we focus, that expands. Whatever we focus and keep on focusing, whether it's pleasant thoughts, whether it's miserable thoughts, whether it's some experiences from the past, they would stay with us, because that's what, through the law of attraction, we are attracting in our life.
Yes. Yes.
And then we
Absolutely.
wonder why I keep attracting same kind of people in my life, why I keep attracting those same miseries in my life. Well, you
You
haven't
learned how to do
learned.
it.
Yeah, you had to learn to let that go, and
Yeah.
focus on something new. Move on your journey. And I'm trying to connect it to your earlier point where you said whatever we had or experienced in our previous life, that we learned that lesson. Now we don't
Right.
have to stay in that life and keep experiencing the same events and keep learning the same lessons. We have to give them a closure,
Right.
right?
Yeah. We don't want to keep reoccurring the same lessons over and over and over again because we're trying to get past them. We're trying to get past them so we can get to the point where we can get out of here and go home and stay home. And focusing on all the things that you did in all of your previous lifetimes is still not going to give you an ability to move past them. Learn to let them go. They're just not important anymore. They were important when they were living, when you were living them, but they're not important now. And if you're just going out there just to try to get a story so you can tell your friends, again, you're still not learning anything. You haven't learned it that you still can't get past it because you think it has some importance to you in your life when it doesn't.
So true. And that's when, getting out of your comfort zone comes into
Yes.
play, because we get so comfortable, whether it's our misery, or some miserable relationships. We just make ourselves comfortable within that, because the unknown or the new phase is, it looks uncomfortable to us, but
Yes.
that's where our growth is, that where
Correct.
our higher self is, that's where we really need to go in order to move forward and learn more lessons in our life and grow and evolve. But we just get so comfortable with whatever we have here right now.
Yeah, we can't figure out that thing where when we were young, we always heard that term, at first you don't succeed, try again. They're telling you to keep trying the same thing over and over again. But as we all know, we should know that if you keep trying to do the same thing over and over again, if it's not working for you, then do something different. Don't keep doing the same thing because you're expecting a different outcome that's never going to come. Do something different. As I tell people, the unfortunate part is we've learned all these things. You've learned all the pain, anguish, sorrow, grief, guilt, anguish, all that stuff. You learned how to have it. You didn't come into this world with it. You don't have to leave with it as well. But we learned how to do it because basically, as I always say, you wake up in this world in a baby body going, "What?" And your mom and dad's going, "I'm your mom and dad." And you're going, "I don't know who the heck you are, but okay." And then they raise you and they teach you the ways of the world. And unfortunately, a lot of the ways of the world have been taught to us through thousands of years, all to keep us suppressed of knowing us for ourselves and who our true selves are, our higher selves are. We have to learn to unlearn all of that, but then learn to reteach ourselves at the same time.
So wonderful. So, Daniel, can you please guide us how we can start this journey of unlearning and then relearning, or learning the real knowledge that serves us on our path to knowing our higher self, connecting with our higher self, and becoming this human being, even in our physical bodies, that achieves the higher purpose that we are born for.
Wake the heck up. That's what you need to do. You have to look around and really take a step back. If anyone who's ever noticed in their own entire lives, once they separate themselves from all the garbage that's going on anywhere, they always seem to get a better sense of what is taking place. So, in other words, take a step back, stop doing what you're doing all the time, and take a step back from it, and take a real good look at what's going on around you, but also take a good look of what's going on inside of you. Take a self inventory of yourself. Think of all the things that you have gone through in your entire life and say, you know what? I'm tired of doing it the same way. Why am I always doing it? But again, one of the reasons why we're always doing it is because it was a long, long time ago, thousands of years ago, we decided to relinquish the power of ourselves and give it to others who said that they were going to take care of us. But you've heard of them. They were called kings and queens, and now they're called government, big corporation. They always claim that they're going to take care of us. Look at yourselves. Look out in the world. Are they really taking care of us? No, they are not. They're more or less just trying to control us all the time, telling us what to do. Stop doing that. Stop letting them do that. Take control of yourself. But again, make sure that you understand that you have the power to do that. Let yourself know that you are good enough to do anything that you want to do in this world. But you just have to have trust and faith within yourself in order to do that. And stop listening to they, because they tell you one day to wear one type of shirt and wear one pair of shoes, and then the next day they tell you not to do that. Well, the problem with they is they need to shut the heck up, and we need to stop listening. That's what we need to do. And that's the first step of learning to go, okay, I don't have to listen to everyone else out in the world tell me how to live my life. I should know how to live my life because I've been doing it for so long. They who are out there aren't around you 24/7. You do get up in the morning, you do put your pants on, you do have some breakfast, you do get yourself ready for work. Are they involved in that? No, they are not. So if they are not involved in that, why do they have to be involved in anything else in your life? They don't have to be. But you have to wake up to decide, okay, I want to take control of myself. Then, as we were talking about, start with the separation. I'm a perfect example of that, and I will admit this fully. I no longer have a relationship right now with my own sister because my sister is always constantly bothering me and calling me on the phone and nagging to me about my two brothers. And then, from what I understand, as my brothers would tell me, that she nags about me behind my back to them. And I got sick and tired of it. So the last conversation with her was her nagging to me about woe was me, woe was me, woe was me all the time. And I got tired of it. And I looked at my phone and said, click. And that was it. And that was a little over 2.5 years ago. I decided that I no longer wanted this negativity in my life. I miss the person that she was, but I now know she is not that person anymore. But I know for me, in order to have some type of balance in my life, some type of direction and some type of clarity in my life, I have to get rid of all the negativity. And a lot of the negativity starts with people. Starts with the people who are around you. If they are not being a positive force in your life, if they're not trying to help you or trying to lift you up to be the better version of you, but also vice versa. But this can't be a one-sided relationship with someone. If this is a person, I don't care if it's your mom, your dad, your brother, your sister, your best friend, or your so-called best friend, because we all have one of those. If they're not helping to be a positive force in your life, then why do you have them in your life? It's time for you to start weeding them out and getting rid of those who are around you first, out of your way. Then it's time for you to now, since you don't have these people coming at you all the time and giving you all these headaches and heartaches, now you can start to get away from all the other things that are in life as well, that are being blocked to you as well. I don't watch the news. I haven't watched that in over 6 years. I don't go out into large crowds of people because usually in large crowds of people, nothing good ever happens. And I stay away from all the other things that are around me. If I'm driving down the street and I'm going to a specific place, and when I get there, I see an argument ensuing in the parking lot or inside the building, I leave. I don't pay attention and stand there and watching what's going on because I know I don't want to be a part of it. I separate, and that's a big thing. Learning to separate yourself from all the pain, anger, sorrow, grief, guilt, anguish, all the arguments and all the mess that's going on in this world. And it does take time. It is hard to do because we all know that every time you walk into a grocery store and you stand there waiting to get your groceries checked out, you have the magazines there that said inquiring minds want to know. Well, my inquiring mind has learned to let that go. I don't need to know about all the rubbish that's going on in the world because I know that it is rubbish. It's hard to do. It really is hard to do because we have been conditioned to do this our entire lives. It's always being pushed in our faces. You turn on the TV and someone's looking at you saying back at you, you need this in your life and you need that in your life. Well, no, I know what I need in my life and what I don't need in my life. And what I don't need in my life is I don't need 6 cars and 7 houses and 10 boats. I don't need that. I don't need to wear a certain type of clothing or a certain type of jewelry to feel important in this life because I am important because I have a beautiful, bright, white, loving soul inside of me that wants to do good things, as well as being a part of me wanting to do good things. But I know that that bright, white soul does not and cannot be clouded by what's going on outside of this body. So in order, that's more or less realistically, as I'm doing a video called Realistically Raising Your Vibrations. Your vibrations, your soul's vibrations are as high as it's going to ever be. You can't raise the vibrations of that. What you're trying to do is raise the vibrations of yourself, the human self. And in order to raise your vibrations, you have to get away from all the crap that's going on out in the world. Because right now, if you're not separated from that, it's like swimming in mud. And no one wants to swim in mud. You want to be able to swim clearly through the pool of water, through the pool of clarity, and not swimming and through trying to get walking around with that muck on you all day long. But again, that takes a long time. You have to learn because as we know, sometimes you're in a relationship to get away from that relationship that went sour on you. It takes just as much time as being in the relationship to get out of it, to be completely separate from it. So you do have to take your time in order to get to this place of clarity that you want to be. So but you're going to have to practice at it. You can't just think, okay, I'm going to do some sacred geometry tattoos, and I'm going to play with a pendulum or put some crystals out there, and I'm going to go to Staples and get an easy button and go, dang, my life is going to be great now. It takes time. It takes effort. Again, as much as you're going to put into your life, that's what you're going to get out of it. So it does take time, but you have to be wanting and willing to do it. No one else is going to do it for you. You may get someone to help you guide you through it as they have been through it themselves, but you have to want to do it yourself. You can't be 1 foot in and 1 foot out. You have to be completely in, because why wouldn't you want to be completely in if you want to get some clarity of yourself?
Wonderful. So the decision has to be yours. You have
Absolutely.
to be honest, completely 1000% brutally honest with yourself, and
Yes.
be introspective, go within and ask those questions, and then listen to the answers from within, not from the outside, not from some guru, not some religious teacher who tells you, because that is their story, that is their vision for
Yes.
themselves, not for you. You get your vision from within, and that happens when you really become 1000% clear and honest with yourself, and ask that question wanting the answer from within.
Yes.
Not somewhere from outside, the way, as you said, we are conditioned. Everybody's throwing stuff at us and telling us, this is the path, this is the way, this is how you do it, this is how you go about. But you have that power within you. You have to reclaim that power and use that power to guide your own path. So
you got to take the power back, right?
You have to take the power back. Absolutely.
Yes.
So talk to me about this power. What is the nature of this power that we are born with? That is our innate ability and our nature. But this power, we have suppressed it because we were conditioned by the society, by everybody around us. What is that power? How can we reclaim that power?
That power is your soul. That is you getting in touch with your soul again. You getting to the higher self, which is your soul. People call it the higher self. People call it their intuition. It is your soul. It is absolutely your soul. It is who you are. It is what makes you you. You have your. I mean, does anybody remember that when they were a child and they were walking around in the world, they were 2 or 3 years old? You looked at the entire world like the entire world was Disneyland. Why? Because you were new into this beautiful place again, and you were so amazed by what you were seeing, by everything. Well, don't you want to get back to that? I always ask people all the time, when did we lose that? And why did we lose that? We lost it because we allowed ourselves to listen to everyone else to tell us that that's not actually what's going on. You need to do this and you need to do that. And here's a set of rules over here and here's a set of rules by that. And if you're not living by those set of rules, oh, you're a horrible person. Or religion telling you, well, if you're not living by this set of rules, you're a sinner for life. Well, I mean, if Jesus Christ died for our sins, then why are we still sinners? If he died for our sins, that doesn't make sense. I mean, it doesn't to me, that's for sure. Because we're not sinners, because no one in this world sins, because we are a bright, white, loving soul. We come from God. We come from a part of Him which makes our soul a divine soul. Everyone is a divine soul, but you happen to live in a world that's full of rules and laws. But that's only because you pay attention to them all. And if you think to yourself sometimes, oh, I don't pay attention to all these rules out there. Well, if you're driving down the road doing 55 miles an hour, yes, you are. So, but you can live outside of that. You can learn to teach yourself to be different. You can be you without everyone else telling you who you need to be. That's what you can do. but it takes time and it takes effort to get in touch with your soul. You have to learn to listen to what it's telling you. And the way that I tell people to do that, beyond myself, I'm a spirit medium. I don't ever not see spirit, but I don't ever just see people. I see people, dogs, cats, horses, cows, fish, everything that has passed away. And I do get answers from spirit in a way that most people don't. They tell me things and then they actually touch my face for yes and no answers. I'm able to ask them for answers and for guidance. But you yourself can do that as well. But you have to learn to listen to it. You have to learn to trust what it's telling you. And you have to learn to follow through with what it's telling you. I know everyone out there has had this experience before, because once I say it, you're going to go, oh yeah, I know exactly what he's talking about. But there's been times when you've walked up to a building, you were about to go in, and you got this gut feeling inside of you that said, I don't feel right about this. Where do you think that's coming from? That's coming from your soul. That's coming from the internal compass that you have inside of you. Why? And you listen to it then, because why? How do I know you listened to it? Because you stopped for a moment and said, that doesn't feel right to me. If they could stop you then and you know it doesn't feel right with it, why wouldn't you pay attention to what it's telling you to do and not go into that building? That's what it's trying to tell you to do. So listen, trust, and follow through with everything it tells you to do. I'm not, again, not the bullet points, not the egotistical part of what's in it for me type of thing, because you have to learn to let that go. Because ego has absolutely no place in spirituality whatsoever. You have to learn that stuff go, let it go. But you have to listen every single time it's telling you to do something. Trust that it's telling you the right thing because it is you, and then follow through with what it's trying to tell you to do. I guarantee every time that you do that, your life will become easier, and it'll be easier for you to listen to it. Now, the best way that I tell people to learn to do that is I always tell people, before you're about to walk into that building, before you're about to make that big decision in your life, take your two hands, place them on your stomach, and stop yourself. Take the time to stop yourself and ask yourself, is this the right thing for me to do? Or is this not the right thing for me to do? Because as I tell everyone, there's no mistakes, there's no other failures, there is no right and wrong. There is only what works for you and what doesn't work for you. And if it doesn't work for you, quit doing it. It's that simple. If you walk through a doorway and there's a nail in the floor and you trip over the nail, and you learn that lesson, go get a hammer and bang it back in. Not everybody does that. Sometimes people trip 4 or 5 times before they figure it out. Stop doing that and start listening to it the first time and learn it quickly so you can get to that next part of your life that you're meant to be, when instead of getting there when you think you're going to be. Okay, so but listen, trust, and follow through every time for every little thing, every decision, because every decision in your life is going to matter. That's why it's a decision. So take the time to dissect it, but also take the time to ask yourself first. And then once you get the answer, if you feel as though you should walk in, then walk in. If you feel as though you shouldn't walk in, then walk away. Learn to listen to yourself. Listen to yourself before you start to learn to listen to everyone else. And then once you start to do that, so much clarity will come to you, who are talking to you with clear advice, with clear abilities to help you with those decisions. You'll see that much easier than you will all the other stuff in your life. And you'll eventually get to that point where you can clear yourself out of all that other stuff in your life. But you have to learn, like I said, the key to this is learn to listen, trust, and follow through. And then down. I'm telling you, it's going to work for you. And that is, again, listening to your soul. But even when you wake up in the morning and you decide, I'm going to go to the mall today, if you think it's just coming from you, that is not. That is coming from your spiritual guide. People want an answer from God every day. You get those answers. You get them all the time. But again, our ego comes in, we go, I'll talk myself out of it and do something better. And then 9 times out of 10, does it turn out better? No, it usually doesn't. And you say, I should have listened to myself. I should have done this. I should have done that. I knew I should have done it. But when you say that, when you say, I just knew, that was your soul talking to you, but you talked yourself out of it. Learn to listen to it more, and better things will happen to you. But yes, those messages you were hoping that God will give you, he gives it to you every day. He's talking to your spiritual guides, and your spiritual guides connect with your soul, and your soul is trying to get you to see the things that you're supposed to do, to go to the places you're supposed to be, and be with the people that you're supposed to be. Stop talking yourself out of everything, because every single time that you talk yourself out of yourself, this is what you're doing. You are telling God, I ain't got time for you today. And why would you do that? Why would you do that even for yourself? You're telling yourself that there's something better out there. There's got to be something better out there. There's nothing better out there than what your soul is trying to tell you to do. That's what you need to learn to do. Again, I know I push this on people all the time, but it is the truth. Listen, trust, and follow through, because your soul knows you better than you do. Why not listen to it before you listen to anyone else?
Listen, trust, and follow through.
Yes.
That is what we need to do, and get in touch with our own intuition, get in touch with what we feel strongly in our gut. Some people call it gut feeling, right?
Yes.
So we need to first of all clear our life from the clutter. Only then we would know and connect with our own self. And once you have a path that you have chosen, and it's a clarified path, and on that path, every time you ask a question from your higher self or your inner self, you get the answer, you get the guidance, and then you have to get used to listening to that voice and journal it.
Yes.
Use a journal and write it down, and see how many times you were right about what you felt and followed through, and how many times you were not. You will see a pattern, and you will follow through, and you will become more and more confident in listening to that inner voice and guiding your life through that voice and with that voice. That is the message. I hope everybody can imply that into your life, and I would
Yes.
love to hear from you if you're already doing it. What is the result? What are you feeling about it? How your life is changing because you are listening to yourself, because you are following through with your own intuition instead of listening to everyone else, instead of
Yes.
conforming to society and letting them dictate how your life should be, what you need to own in your life, because they are selling you things. They're not thinking about you, they're thinking about themselves. And
Money.
you need to listen to yourself, and you need to be more faithful with yourself than anyone else. So Daniel, could you please also tell me about a human soul and its experience and the stages, who we are, where we came from, and where we will go after we are done experiencing this physical life on this earth?
Well, that is up to you, more or less, where you go. That has to do with your also your free will, your choice. As I said, we all come from the same family. We all come from the soul family. That is where we start, and we come here to learn things, but we also come here to fulfill that purpose as well. And that's why the reason we actually come back over and over again. God does not punish us. You know, we punish ourselves by the choices that we make. God does not. He does not. He doesn't judge us in any type of way. We judge ourselves 1,000 times a day. Why does he need to do it once more? He doesn't. But he does send us to learn here. But that does not mean if we pray hard enough, well, then God is going to fix it for us. Well, no. There's that term that says, God bless you. He did. He put you here. He wants us to figure out the rest. There is that ask and you shall receive. Well, no, that's not absolutely going to happen. As I think I've stated to you before, no one has a guardian angel following them around. If you had a guardian angel following you around, what would you learn if he was guarding you from everything? You wouldn't learn anything. That's why he sent you here. He wants us to learn. He wants us to figure out that life is not meant to be easy. If it was meant to be easy, what would be the point of living? If you were given everything in this lifetime, you wouldn't appreciate the things that you do have. God is not going to give you everything. You have everything you're going to need, no more, no less, but it's here for you to figure that out. We all come from the same place. We all come from the same start off base place. And then we come here to learn this life and figure this life out. But that does that as well. That takes time. There's lessons that we have to learn because we didn't learn from the previous lifetime. We have to do them all over again. Why do we have to do them all again? Because you made some bad choices. So, but again, the reason for being here is to fulfill the purpose, and that's why we keep coming back. We do fulfill our purpose throughout our lives, but we don't do it enough as God would like us to do. So He keeps sending us back because how do we know that? Well, nobody lives to be 150 years old. Besides, at that point, it's going to hurt to pee. And who wants to be here for that? So, but it's going to take time. So he knows if you don't get it right this time, he can just bring you back again and next time to try it again. And we're just going to keep coming back over and over and over again until we get it done. Again, but that doesn't mean everybody here doesn't get to never not go home because we know we are trying to communicate with Spirit all the time. There are plenty of people who are back at home. Now, I will hopefully get people to understand this, that not everyone goes to heaven right away. You will go to a holding place, so they will go over your life and let you know what you did and did not do. And then for those people who do have to come back again, will stay there and can just keep coming back as long as they have to keep coming back. You will not originally go right to what we call heaven itself because the ones that are in heaven are the ones who are meant to stay. Now, that holding place is sort of like heaven, but it's not as grand as heaven is. Again, as I always tell people, I communicate with archangels. I don't make the rules. I just explain it to people. But you will have to come back over and over again until you get it right. And then when you get it right, you'll know the difference. But again, not a big deal. You're coming back because we are here to fulfill a purpose. So what do I want everybody to do is go out and help everybody that they can. Life is not about just you. It's about you helping other people, helping all of God's creation in some form, some fashion to get this place to be a better place. You know, they talk about the Garden of Eden in the Bible. It's not one place. It's the entire place. The entire planet is the Garden of Eden. We have so much here that is we are able to take care of ourselves with, but we have to learn to trust that it's going to work. But the only way we can know that it's going to work is we have to learn to share everything in this world. Sharing is getting away, because sharing is caring, but sharing is getting away from the entire system of money, thinking that's more important. That does not give us value in this world. Again, the true value in this world is us, and we have to learn to figure that out. We have to learn that we all live on the same planet. No one is going anywhere anytime soon, so we better start to get along with each other before we annihilate each other. That's what we need to do, because we don't want to do that. We have to stop segregating ourselves from ourselves. We have to stop letting everyone else out in the world tell us that we should all be angry with each other and hate each other. That is not what he wants for us. That is not what Jesus wanted for us. Jesus was here to let us know. He died for being a free thinker. He did not die for your sins because no one sins, okay? But the people who are going to tell you how that you sin are the people who want to tell you how to live your life the way they want you to live and give them 10%. Stop listening to those people. You don't need to listen to them. And so he was here to tell us that we can all take care of each other. We can all share everything because there's enough of everything in the world to share. You could be a doctor. I could be a farmer. You could heal my wounds. I could give you some food. We could call it a day. It could be that easy. But we have to get back to that, knowing that everything else that's going on out in the world is a bunch of bullcrap. It's a bunch of stuff that's trying to keep us separated from ourselves, keep us segregated from ourselves, and to feel anger and pain and sorrow and grief against each other all the time. We don't have to do that, but we're going to do that as long as we listen to those who are always telling us that we have to do that. Stay away from the narrative. Stay away from everyone else out in the world who's trying to separate you from someone. Stop listening to they and start listening to yourself instead, because you know the self doesn't feel this pain, anger, sorrow, grief, and anguish because, again, you didn't wake up. You didn't walk around as a 2-year-old child thinking that at all, did you? I mean, like I said, if you take 2 children at the age of 2 years old, every race and creed and color, and stick them in one giant room and then turn 2 of them around and tell them, I want you to point to me who you don't like and who you hate, they're going to look at you like you're crazy because they didn't learn it yet. Well, you have it now. So unlearn it from yourself. Take it all away and stop letting everyone else in the world tell you that this is what you need to have. You know what you need to have. You want to have love in your life. You want to experience relationships in your life that are good in your life. You want to feel like everyone around you is family. Because if we were to learn to do that, we wouldn't have all this pain, anger, sorrow, grief, guilt in the world. We wouldn't have any of it because there would be no need for it. So we have to get back to that. We have to get back to the true self, the one individual that works in this world, which is us, which is the higher self of ourselves, the best version of ourselves. And what we can do is we can teach that to ourselves and then help teach that to others, which in turn, if we can do that for others, then turns back around on us, which is making it better for ourselves as well. So learn to listen, learn to trust, learn to follow through, and learn to listen to that beautiful, bright, white light soul that's guiding you in this world to being the better version of yourself. And once we do that, everyone else who is not on board will eventually be on board because they're not going to want to be on an outside group. That's what we need
Beautiful.
to do.
That is powerful. That we don't have to listen to these hate mongers and fear mongers who
Right.
want to control us and who want to, take away or steal our own power from us and make us feel miserable and helpless. So we keep running to them, we keep listening to them, and we
Yes.
keep buying their narratives that helps them and not us, and we help each other.
Right.
And the best form of helping each other to me is sharing this message, empowering individuals, not through just the money. Of course, if you have it, great,
Share it.
help those share it who need it. But the best form to help each and every one around you is to empower them in their own individual way. Share
Yes.
this message with them, so they can learn and they can get their power back and reclaim that innate power that they have within themselves and make their life better and make their own choices in an empowered way.
Yes. Absolutely. I
Thank
think you
you.
said it better than me.
No, I didn't. It's just like
Mhm.
I'm putting out there my thoughts, and I'm trying, the way I have started my journey, and I know how much impact it has made on me, and I'm super grateful for all the teachers, including yourself and everyone that I have learned from, and made my life better. And now I'm trying to put that message out there for those who are maybe beginning their journeys or on their journeys, wherever you are on your spiritual
Yes.
awakening journey. You need to listen to this and spread this message, and don't be afraid. Sometimes when you talk about these things, these deeper truths that are empowering you, some people might not like it. They would dismiss it. But
Sure.
your purpose, your way of helping others is to just put that message out there, share with them this message, and let them evolve at their own pace. Don't get angry if people
Correct.
around you that you want to help, they're not receptive of your help. Maybe
Yes.
this is not their time yet, but you just putting it out there, you have done your work, you have done your job, and you continue on your personal empowerment journey, and you continue sharing this message with people out there. With that, Daniel, I would love for you to share with our audience where they can find you, what are the resources that you offer, and how they can connect with you and seek more guidance from you.
Sure. If they're looking to, I'm also, again, I'm a spiritual medium. I speak with I communicate with archangels. As I always tell people, people come to me because they want an answer from God, and I get the answer, but they don't always like the answer because not everybody likes the truth. But that's too bad. It's still the truth. But that's who I communicate. I'm not the medium who gets a hold of your mom and dad or your brother and sister, your dog and cat. I'm going to give you peace of mind and clarity, but I'm going to give you direction. And I get these answers from archangels. They are the right hand of God. They are giving me the answers to help you, to guide you to your life, so that you can learn your lessons and fulfill your purpose, so you can go home and stay home. That's what I do. And if that's something you're interested in having, then you can find me at spiritmediumdaniel.com, and you can book a reading with me. If you want to read my book, I have a book out called Daniel Jackson, The New Beginning, My Awakening as a Spirit Medium. It's right there behind me. You can find that on Amazon. It's a story about me, how everything happened to me and for me, enabling me to start this journey of being a medium and communicating with spirit. It's an interesting story. But chapter 12 is my favorite part of it, because chapter 12 are channeled messages from archangels to help us to be the better versions of ourselves, and then helping us to help others, which in turn will help us at the same time, of sharing everything in this world. And you can find that on Amazon. Put in the search bar, Daniel Jackson, The New Beginning, My Awakening as a Spirit Medium. I sell it for $8. Honestly, I'm not trying to make $1 million, but I'm trying to help as many people as I can. If it sells 1 million copies, great. That would just tell me that the message is getting out and they're listening to it. But yeah, you can find that on Amazon. If you want to find me on Instagram, you can find me at spirit.medium.daniel. I do post there on regularly. And now I also have my own show called Beyond the Veil with Daniel Jackson. That's how I started. And you can find that on newrealitytv.com. That's newrealitytv.com. There's lots of shows on there. I think there's 35 different programs on there right now at this moment. It's a brand new streaming spiritual network that just debuted about 2 weeks ago. So again, you can find me on newrealitytv.com. You can join I have a Facebook group called the Spirit Medium Daniel Facebook group, and it says Spirit Medium Daniel group. And you can find that. Now, again, Spirit touches me on my face for yes and no answers. When I get a yes, it feels like a blood is dripping across the top of my eyebrow or some other place in my head. When I get a no, it feels like blood is dripping down my eye like a tear. Okay. When people join that group, I myself are not picking who is allowing to come into that group. I will look at your name. And if one of my archangels says yes, then I will allow you to come in the group. If they say no, it's because they know that you're going to try some malintent inside my group, trying to bother other people or trying to bring some other garbage into the group. And they will not allow that to happen. So they tell me which one's the right ones to put in the group and which ones are not. And if I get a no, then it's a delete. If I get a yes, then you're in the group and no problem. So you can find me there again on Facebook on Spirit Medium Daniel Group. You can go on YouTube if you want to see other videos. But watch this one instead, okay? But if you want to see other videos, just go on YouTube and put in Spirit Medium Daniel Jackson, and you will see me everywhere. I've done somewhere over 250 shows at this point. But I'm doing that because I'm trying to put a specific message out there. I'm trying to put this word out there. And apparently, as I've listened through this episode right here, we got the same message going on here, lady. So, and that's good. So I hope people do listen to the show as well. But yeah, I am everywhere. All you
Thank you so much, Danielle, for joining us today for this conversation and sharing your wisdom, your knowledge, and guiding us further where we can find you. So, everyone, I hope that you enjoyed this conversation just as much as I did, and it was enlightening, and it would help you in your journey, in your path to find your bigger purpose, connecting with your inner self, and spreading the good in this world. So, if you like this episode, please give us a thumbs up. If you haven't already subscribed, subscribe this channel and press the bell icon so all the future video notifications can get to you. Keep chasing the dreams and keep living with passion. Thank you so much, and I'll see you in the next episode.